and then,
Good morning.
Good morning, Dale.
Good morning, Sharon.
Good morning, Nan. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Jim Boyle, are you filling in for Trevor today? Oh, there's Trevor.
Sure.
Good morning, Trevor. Okay, Mike Chambers, are you on?
Yeah, here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All good.
Okay, we've got one more minute before we can start. I think we have everybody on.
Good morning, Nan.
Good morning, Dale. Morning, Trevor.
Morning, Nan. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
It's a beautiful day. How could you not be?
I know. Yesterday was nice. I think we're actually in spring. Finally.
I agree.
Okay, Mike, everybody is on and it's 11 o'clock, so we can start whenever you're ready.
Okay, very good. Good morning, everyone. Monday, May 17th, 2021, Board of Control meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Good morning. Calling the roll for the Monday, May 17th Board of Control meeting. It is 11 a.m. Dale Miller,
Here.
Nan Baker,
Here.
Trevor Meckler serving as an alternate for Purnell Jones,
Here.
Mike Chambers serving as an alternate for Armin Budish,
Here.
Lee Tucker serving as an alternate for the fiscal officer,
Here.
Nicole English serving as an alternate for Mike Dever,
Here.
Lenora Lockett.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to make a motion to approve the minutes from May 10th. Do I have a second, please?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes approved. Moving on to public comment. Anyone from the public wishes to speak? You may do so now. Okay, we have no public comment. Moving on to contracts and awards.
First item, BC 2021-227, Department of Public Works submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 5736, which will result in an award recommendation to Seco Solutions in the amount not to exceed $28,400 for the purchase and installation of 3 replacement diesel pumps for the fuel system located at the Harvard Avenue Maintenance Facility, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Tom Pavich, Public Works. This item, it's a more recommendation of Seco. It's for the diesel pump replacements at Harvard's and not to exceed dollar amount. And this is the to be awarded purchase order for the vendor. It was bid out competitively with 3 efforts, and Seco was the only vendor we got a quote from.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Are there any questions from the board members on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and since we only got one bid, do we have any estimate of how the price compares to what we were expecting?
And speaking with the fleet manager, he believes that it's a fairly competitive price. There's not too many vendors in that market, and for the pumps, this is the entire replacement of basically everything above ground, the entire pump system, and he feels that this is a good price.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any additional questions from the board? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I think that was Lee Tucker, seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2021-228, Department of Development submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 5529, which will result in an award recommendation to Baldwin Wallace University Community Research Institute in the amount not to exceed $50,800 for economic research and analysis services in connection with the 5-year economic development plan for the period May 17th, 2021 through February 28th, 2022, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Paul Hertig with the Department of Development. This contract with Baldwin Wallace essentially replaces our former agreements we had with the Center for Economic Development at Cleveland State University for basically the same functions. We were very happy with the work we got from Cleveland State University, a team of researchers led by Dr. Irina Lendl. The only reason we're making a change is that we were informed by Cleveland State that due to the number of other research commitments they have, they cannot continue to provide the service at this time. We did send a written request for information out to every 4-year institution in Cuyahoga County, and we heard back from a couple, Notre Dame, and also reconfirmed with Cleveland State that they still were not able to provide the services. John Carroll, we also checked with, they were not able to do it. Baldwin Wallace has 2 researchers, Dr. Thomas Sutton, Dr. Christian Asaya, who are able to assist us with the research we need. And we have negotiated a price with them, which is very comparable to the $50,000 we were paying Cleveland State in the past. Therefore, we're requesting approval of this contract so that Baldwin Wallace can continue to support the county's 5-year plan with economic research and will provide other economic research services to the Department of Development.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any questions from the board?
Yes, this is Dale, and Not a question, just a comment. I think it provides us an opportunity. I think there is value to getting a different set of eyes on the 5-year economic development plan. It'll be interesting to see what new ideas they come up with.
Very good. Any other questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-229, Department of Human Resources, recommending an award on requisition 6271 and enter into a contract with Medical Mutual of Ohio in the amount not to exceed $1,666.67 for group data sharing with a third-party administrator to process claims for employees and their eligible dependents under the medical reimbursement program for the period December 3rd, 2020 through December 31st, 2021.
Stephen Witt with the Department of Human Resources. This agreement relates to our major medical contract with Medical Mutual for healthcare benefits. This agreement will allow Medical Mutual to share explanation of benefits with our FSA vendor through WEX per our request, which is for the fee of $1,666.67 for the year. Our contract with Medical Mutual for healthcare benefits expires at the end of the year. There is currently an RFP out for the next contract. The reason why this is a separate agreement is that this data sharing was not included in the original RFP or contract with Medical Mutual. It is in our new RFP that was just issued this morning.
Okay, thank you, Stephen. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. McAleer. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-230, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on a purchase order to Argus Group Holding, doing business as Premier Safety, in the amount of $103,713.37 for one replacement chemical gas detection system for the Cuyahoga County Type 1 Hazardous Materials Team.
Good morning. This is Mary Beth Fawn from Public Safety, and this equipment will allow the hazmat team to survey a wide area to detect chemical and gas emissions for both planned and disastrous events. This item was competitively bid. We received one response, and as this is a grant-funded purchase, Ohio EMA has approved the award.
Thank you, Mary Beth. Are there any questions from the board members on this item? Hearing none, then I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2021-231, Department of Public Safety and Justice Services, recommending an award on a purchase order to Rigaku Analytical Devices Incorporated in the amount of $47,150 for one handheld chemical analyzer for City of Cleveland Police Bomb Team.
Good morning. This is Mary Beth again, and this piece of equipment will allow the bomb team to identify potential explosive substances even when they're stored in opaque or colored containers. We solicited quotes, or actually, I'm sorry, this was also competitively bid. We received 3 responses, and we're making an award recommendation to the lowest cost vendor, and Ohio EMA has also approved this award.
Thank you again, Mary Beth. Are there any questions from the board members on this item? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Thank you.
Next item, BC 2021-232, Office of the Medical Examiner, submitting an RFP exemption on requisition 4980, which will result in an award recommendation to Charles Cantonese, MD, in the amount not to exceed $57,500 for forensic pathology services for the period March 29th, 2021 through December 31st, 2021, and recommending the award in connection with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon, Medical Examiner's Office. This is a contract with a forensic pathologist who was available to fill some needs in the office with increasing caseloads and some medical leave for 2 of our doctors.
Okay, Hugh, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Okay, hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Item approved.
Thank you.
Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-233, Sheriff's Department, recommending an award and enter into an agreement with Cuyahoga Community College Public Safety Training Center in the amount not to exceed $57,600 for rental of space at the firearms range located at 11,000 West Pleasant Valley Road, Parma, for use by deputies and protective services officers for the period May 1st, 2021 through May 1st, 2023.
Someone from the sheriff? If you're talking, you're mute.
I don't see anyone on from the sheriff.
Okay, then I guess we're going to hold this item. Unless we get somebody on.
Okay. Did you want me to go on to the next item?
Let's go on to the next one and see if anyone calls in by the end. Thank you, Sharon.
Okay. Next item, BC 2021.
Hey, this is Donna. Guys, I'm sorry. Listen, I just went in because Laura, this was Laura's item, and I just ran into her office and told her get on the call. So she's getting on right now. So if you want to move on to something else and then come back to this one. So sorry about that.
Okay, Donna. Yeah, we'll jump on to the next one, and when she comes on, we'll come back to her.
Okay, right. And I'd be happy to present it, but she's more familiar with it because she worked on this one. All right.
That's fine.
So thanks.
Okay, next item, BC 2021-234, Department of Health and Human Services, Cuyahoga Job and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Catholic Charities Corporation for pre-employment screening services for Ohio Works First applicants for the period July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2022, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $469,751.
Morning, Paul Porter, Health and Human Services on behalf of Cuyahoga Job and Family Services. This is an amendment to our existing contract for pre-employment screening services with Catholic Charities. CJFS completed an RFP for these services in 2020, and that RFP contained a 1-year contract term with 2 additional option years. We are exercising the First Amendment option. The value for this annual amendment period matches the initial 1-year value of the contract, and these are required services for any applicants seeking cash assistance like food stamps or the SNAP program. These services have been continually offered during the pandemic, primarily by virtual appointments due to some of the building closures. When the services are operating on site, the screenings take place here in the Virgil Brown building. Again, this is the first option year. We would have 1 additional option year remaining for 2022 and 2023 after this amendment. And this is fully funded by federal TANF dollars.
Thank you, Paul. Are there questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and my question is if you could just describe a little more what the actual services that are provided to the applicants.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilman Miller. So if somebody comes in and applies for benefits, this pre-employment screening is a thorough, in-depth screening of those applicants to help identify, what work might be best suited for them. It's part of the state's goal to make sure folks that are receiving assistance are pointed towards getting a job eventually rather than just receiving the assistance. These specific services encompass the actual evaluation, where an evaluator goes through numerous different questions, I believe well over 100 questions, designed to create kind of an employment profile for that individual, if you will.
And one follow-up, does the screening also involve asking questions that would identify places where if they got a little education here or there, they could improve their employability and get something more than entry level?
Absolutely. The survey would go over things like that, and also goes over it not in as great of detail, but issues that would be barriers to employment for those individuals. So not just education level, but things like substance abuse disorders as well. So again, very thorough screening services designed to help get folks pointed in the right direction.
Okay, thank you.
Any additional questions from the board on this item?
Just one, if I may, Nan Baker. Good questions, Dale. And the pre-employment screening, how many do you think you talked to? And is that limited only with those involved with the Catholic Charities? How does that work, Paul?
Sure, I would have to get you updated statistics for this year in particular. The county is required to provide this service. And as part of the RFP, we identified just the one vendor to work on this. So any of the pre-employment screening referrals that we've done have been specifically to Catholic Charities as the one vendor for this. I can get you up-to-date data over the most recent contract period. So I would be able to probably pull data from July 1st through either 12/31 or 3/31 if we've gotten the most recent first quarter report from the vendors. So I can follow up with that number later.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Very interesting.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Okay, any final comments on this item from the board? Hearing none, then I make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item, please.
Okay, we're going to go back to BC 2021-233, Sheriff's Department recommending an award and enter into an agreement with Cuyahoga Community College Public Safety Training Center in the amount not to exceed $57,600 for rental of space at the firearms range located at 11,000 West Pleasant Valley Road, Parma, for use by deputies and protective services officers for the period May 1st, 2021 through May 1st, 2023.
Hello, this is Laura Sims for the Sheriff's Office. I apologize for not being available. I was on another call that ran over. This is for the range for protective services and deputies to practice for their firearms. This is a requirement for both protective services and deputies to maintain their OPATA certifications for weapons carrying, and the contract will be for a period for 2 years.
Thank you, Laura. Are there questions from the board on this item?
Yes, this is Dale, and Ms. Sims, I just have one question as to whether, does this give us access to a particular space that we can use anytime we want, or is it more a matter that we have to schedule particular times when we want to use the space?
We have to schedule particular times. There's something in the contract that we have to schedule them the times in advance. Since we're not the only agency that uses that, there are several within Northeastern Ohio, and so it needs to be scheduled in advance.
And how much difficulty do we have getting times that when we want them?
Yeah.
Hello?
No, I'm just texting you, Rebecca back. Did you see? Oh,
Someone needs to mute.
Oh, you're on it. Yeah. What's up?
So this is the paper that was in the shredder.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. That I'm aware of, we have not had too much of a difficulty getting times, because generally we book them far enough in advance so that isn't an issue for us.
How many times would we typically use the range in an average month?
You know what? I don't know. That is something that specifics I would need to get from one of our staff. My guess is a couple times, but I don't know for sure. It could even be weekly, but I don't know.
Councilman Miller, I'm going to jump in here. Excuse me. This is Donna, fiscal manager. I'm going to jump in here. So in terms of scheduling, it's not that each of our deputies or PSOs have to schedule. What happens is the range master, because there has to be a range master, somebody certified as a range master, he will schedule a full day. And then in that day, he will have slots for some of the team members, some of the deputies or the PSOs to come out within that day and do their firearms training or their qualifications. So, and my understanding is he usually does about 1 day a week. And again, so it's not like each deputy is making their own appointment or whatever. It's that the range master is scheduling an entire day, and then it's up to him to fill the slots in that day. If that helps, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does, and that's what I expected. I would not have expected that each individual would have to schedule their own time. I would have expected that we would schedule a time that we're going to hold a session, and then the people who need training would work themselves into that.
Correct, and a range master has to be present. That's just the rules. Yes.
Okay, any additional questions on this item? Hearing none, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2021-235, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, submitting an amendment to a contract with Adoption Network Cleveland for support services to adoptive kinship and foster families for the period April 27th, 2020 through April 26th, 2021, to extend the time period to June 30th, 2021, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $14,026.
Good morning, Paul Porter, Health and Human Services on behalf of the Division of Children and Family Services. This is an amendment to a contract with Adoption Network Cleveland, which was a contract that included training services as part of a variety of services ANC provides to the Division of Children and Family Services and families involved with DCFS. DCFS operates the North Central Ohio Regional Training Center, or NCORTC, which is a training center organized and partially funded by the state of Ohio to provide training for workers in this general area of the state. The state used to contract directly with vendors to provide training at RTC, but they are working to get out of the direct contracting piece since the counties operate the training centers, not the states. So what the state did in this case was said, we will grant you funding. Can you please enter into a contract with this vendor to deliver the trainings that they've been delivering at your facility? There was an advanced question about the end date being June 30th of this year. We got confirmation and a funding amount from the state that would extend through June 30th of 2021. We anticipate that the state will give an additional 1-year award for this contract. We just haven't gotten confirmation on the exact amount yet. That's why we're moving forward with the amendment to provide this funding now, and then we would come back with another amendment for any additional funding that the state provides.
Thank you, Paul. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Hearing none, then I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Moving on, please.
Moving on to consent agenda item numbers BC 2021-236 through 239. And if I may make a correction to BC 2021-239 on purchase order number 21001538, which is an award to Airgas USA, to correct the service description to remove the word medical. So the item will read gases for various locations, various county locations, I'm sorry.
Board members, please take a moment to review them all and feel free to speak with any questions. Do we need a little more time or are we good?
I have one question, Nan Baker, on 239.
Yes.
Is that what we traditionally do is go out to bid and then allow for more because of future purchases? Is that I thought that was a little, I don't remember reading something like that before, where we go out to bid, get a price, and then we actually make it for more so that we have excess money to work with later. Is that?
Good morning.
Go ahead, Tom.
This is Tom Pavich, Public Works. So I know Public Works has done this in the past, and I think other departments have also done this, where we try to maximize our purchasing power. Rather than go out to bid for $5,000 or $10,000, you know, we still go out for a competitive bid. We itemize the materials that we use or equipment that we use on a regular basis that we know we're going to buy. We bid it out competitively. We get out the unit price and we go to the lowest bidder, and then we maximize that purchase order up to that threshold. So, for example, like the Airgas, we only bid out a handful of units of measure for those various gases that we use. But rather than come back to the board, say next month or in 3 months, you know, the hope is that we maximize it under that 50,000 threshold for the 49,999. It'll last us quite a bit, a little bit longer than it otherwise would if we don't go up to that 50,000 threshold. That's why we make it a not to exceed. You know, we do our best effort to try to forecast what we're going to buy, but you know, things could change tomorrow with what we're going to buy or spending habits. But, you know, when we go out to bid, we try to capture what we know we're going to buy or think we're going to buy. But, you know, it's tough to gauge the quantities of, you know, not just gases, but it could be the rebar for road and bridge, various equipment for sanitary or the kennel. There's a lot of factors that impact actual usage versus forecasting. So that's why we try to maximize it and do it that way.
Okay, that's good to know. I guess my only question was, isn't that why we gave the ability to bid under 50,000 without having to come to us for approval? Am I wrong on this? Or?
Under 5,000 is the
Under
approval.
5. Oh, it's
Yeah.
under 5,000. Okay.
Right. So 5 to 50 would require this. And keep in mind, at the end of the year, if they don't use it, they're going to lose it. We're going to start taking all those away. But I do think it's a way to help get a better price. And certainly it's not a contract. So if something were to come up, they can stop this and rebid it at any time.
Okay. Thanks. I appreciate the explanation.
Sure. Yep. Any additional questions from the board members on today's consent agenda items? Okay, hearing none, I'm going to make a motion to approve as amended by Sharon for that one item. Do I have a second, please?
Second, Miller.
Seconded by Councilman Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it's item approved. Moving on to other business. No other business?
No other business.
Moving on to public comment. At this time, if anyone from the public wishes to speak, you may do so now. Okay, nobody from the public. At that time, I'm going to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Geez, nobody wanted to adjourn. Seconded by Ms. Lee Tucker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Once again, have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.